Rhonda Shear, and you're listening to Born to be Rad and Dead Pit on Up All Night.
All right, gang, we have an awesome interview set up for you guys with myself and Wes from
Dead Pit Radio.
And guys, we are here. We have been lucky enough to be asked by the Kings of Horror to bring on the one and only Rhonda Shear to the show. If you guys grew up when we grew up in the 90s, you know exactly who Rhonda Shear is. She was the host of Up All Night. And man, what a cool interview, dude. What a great lady.
Yeah, a lot of fun. Definitely a legend from our childhoods. Got us through adolescence and introduced us to a lot of these cult movies that we would later pay $40, $50 a piece for on Vinegar Syndrome, man.
100%. I learned about a lot of movies through Up All Night, and it's cool that, you know, it's coming back and it's going to be premiering on Saturday the 25th. And not only do we talk about Up All Night from the 90s and Up All Night, what to expect from the new show, but we also made sure we talked to her a little bit about her time doing some WWF stuff from back in the day, WrestleMania 10, being a guest on Raw, interviewing these wrestlers or characters
Legends.
backstage. Yep. Yeah. So we had to make sure to talk about that with her. And man, it was a great time.
Yeah. So guys, sit back, relax, enjoy this interview. A week from tonight, October the 25th, 10 p.m. You can check out the new show on the Kings of Horror YouTube page. But now, check out our interview with Rhonda Shear here on Dead Pit
and Born to be Rad. It's crazy to think that this is happening right now because, again, growing up in the 90s, it's like every Friday night you turn on USA Up All Night and you will see this face down below. And we are here with the one, the only Rhonda Shear. Rhonda, welcome to
I am
the show.
so happy to be here, Garrett and Wes. I am. I'm very excited to be anywhere. But yes, this is a big surprise for me, but it's something that was always in the back of my mind. It's just the last 23 years, I have been designing and manufacturing women's intimate apparel. So I didn't go to the cons and the festivals. I've had a toe in show business. I've always kept it in there, but I reunited with my junior high school sweetheart 23 years ago, and we started this other business, and it was almost fresh off of Up All Night. And, you know, I should have kept the brand going like Cassandra Peterson and everybody else, but we were so busy starting our new lives and our new business that I didn't. But now we're back and it's exciting and even better than before because much like USA Network, YouTube and Kings of Horror is really allowing us a place to play and even bring more fun content. And we're leaning heavily into comedy. And I'm going to have a lot of guests on, like directors and producers of these films, to chat about the films, because I'm not going to profess to be all things horror like Joe Bob Briggs is. And it was always comedy was my thing. Obviously, I watched every film and I will be doing that again, but I'm a little rusty with films right now. So it's fun for us to be giving new indie filmmakers maybe their premiere on the show, and letting, you know, some oldies but goodies. Hopefully we're going to get Lloyd Kaufman on. We have to get one of his shows. Here's the magic is I was at this festival, a show called FrankenCon in Knoxville, Tennessee. And people have been asking me to do the conventions and I just haven't done them. I just really haven't time. But I did this one 2 months back and the people from Kings of Horror were there and they're like, do you ever think about rebooting Up All Night? I'm like, yeah, I have, even with my own crew, because we do commercials and a lot of content for my brand. So we've done it, we've played around, but they said, well, we have the films. We've got 14,000 films that we have licensed because they're a licensing company, their parent company. And I said, well, that's funny because we just built an out and out studio, a 10,000 square foot studio for all things media, for podcasting, influencers, TV, film, that we just did because we had a building that we no longer were using for warehousing my intimate apparel. So we built it into a studio. So that's the perfect marriage. They have the films, we have the studio, And so that gave us, this incredible freedom, much like early basic cable. I hope I got you through puberty, Garrett. I got so many young men through puberty, and I'm so proud of that.
It was the perfect time period. Yep.
It was the perfect time.
Like 11 to 18, I think, something like
Yeah.
that for me.
So I'm going to do that again, not me personally. I mean, I'll have a little cleavage, but they're a little longer now. But I'm going to shower my set with beautiful young women and men and great actors and stand-up comics and wrestlers and filmmakers and stars of those films, because I love to help young people, and I also like a cast around me, and I also like the comedy and the acting part. So it'll be different than everybody, than different than Joe Bob Briggs. But yes, complimentary. And I really hope that the same people that watch all these hosts will come over and watch us, because we'll be on Saturday nights. We start with 3 specials. In October 25th is our first on Kings of Horror on YouTube. And then November 22nd is our second one for Thanksgiving. And our third is a Christmas special on December 20th. Then we go every other week. So we are back in production.
As far as the movies go, though, it sounds like you're going all sorts of different genres, too. So even though it's Kings of Horror on YouTube, you're going to see stuff like the old days, maybe a ninja movie, maybe some sex comedies and stuff like that as well, right?
Exactly. I want to be politically incorrect because I'm old enough to say, F you, I want to be crazy. No, but truly, truly, there was a generation, even after you guys, that grew up not experiencing some of the fun things that we did in the 90s, because everything is like, you can't show that, you can't do that. You can't have like sexy jean ads, you can't have sexy anything. But so I'm going to bring sexy back, but we're going to lean into the politics of it, saying, my body, my choice. I want to show boobies, not me, but I'm going to have a lot of my young, like our second show that we're doing is Scream Queen School. So we'll have a couple of Scream Queens on there, and then we're going to have some actresses on there and put them through all the things if they were auditioning for a horror film. So we're just really going to have some fun sketches, because I find that everything is so political now. And, if you Saturday Night Live, it's so I just want to do really escapism, fun films. And yes, we're going to have some of those B comedies like Revenge of the Party Nerds. That's my friend Richard Gabby that produced those. We're Kings of Horror is very open to that, because they have horror all day, all night, all day. And so, yes, we will do horror films, of course, but we will also lean into some of the other films too. And Kate, we're gonna listen to our audience. If they ask us to do certain things, that's how I build my intimate apparel line. I listen to women, like what they want. If someone says, well, I'd love to see this film, that's the cool thing with Kings of Horror, is that they can actually go after licensing films that I asked for. That's very unique.
Yeah, I mean, that does sound pretty cool. I mean, it's funny that you say that, because I remember like one of the movies that really stands out as the first time I'd ever seen it was on your show. And that was a movie called Tomboy, which was like kind of like a 80s, teen comedy from back then, which people still don't really talk about that much, but I can remember seeing it on your show for the first time and kind of fall in love with it. So it's kind of cool that, you're going to bring all the different genres back, because you always did do the different genres. And I think in the world that we live in now, what's old is new again, in the sense that the Joe Bob Briggs thing, people get excited for those specials, right? So it's pretty much, the same idea, is that I think when you guys have these specials, people are going to get excited for them.
I totally think so. I think I'll have a built-in audience my gosh, the remarks and just the emails and everything I'm getting right now on social media is insane. I love it. It's like feeding my ego. It's so fabulous. But also their kids, their grandkids, a new audience that wasn't even born, I think will bring into this world. And I think they'll realize, what they missed. And we're going to show some really attractive people and bring sexy back and just all kinds of crazy. My gosh, we've got so many shows lined up that I want to do. I've always loved sketch comedy. I did stand up for many years. That's my first love. And yes, of course, I love that we have already, people that are experts in the horror genre that are coming on. And even our second film, which is Hayride, we have the director coming on. So I think that I will learn and relearn with the audience. Like, I'll ask a lot of great questions, what I ask these questions, like, why do you do these films? They're like, because I grew up with you and I got turned on to these films. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's so insane. Bill Hader, I'm trying to get him on. I don't know him, but I've read so many articles that he got into the business because of Rhonda Shear, not even Gilbert, God bless him. Our first show will be dedicated to the fabulous Gilbert Gottfried. I'm so excited about that. I miss him. It's fabulous. Great guy to work with. But like we've had so many people reach out to us, like JB Smooth wants to come on the show. I'm like, this is insane. Like famous wrestler. So I think it's much like you guys that grew up with the show, and women too, they grew up with the show. It's kind of like, well, their childhood person they grew up with. I mean, I know the people that I grew up with when I did meet them through Up All Night back in the day. I was so excited. I was speechless because, you just, that's the person you're a little kid with. So I'm hoping to bring that excitement to a new generation. And I'll be going to a lot of the conventions and the Kings of Horror. It's just such a special relationship to let us be free. I mean, there's stipulations and things that we can't do on YouTube, but it's kind of like this new world of being free and open. And we're not going to be dirty. We'll still stick to double entendre because we could end up streaming on, a streaming channel as well. So I want to it's going to be network quality, great production, beautiful production. And I want to keep it, just like I always did, double entendre, not giving the whole farm away, but flirty, which is something this new young generation doesn't even know what flirt means.
Right. You get in trouble for doing that now.
You do. Yeah, I know. I'm going to change that.
The original show though, were you like how did you get involved with that? That was like in the early 90s. Were you a fan of the cult movies like that, or was that just something you kind of fell into?
I was doing stand-up comedy, early stand-up comedy, and I was acting on every show. And I got to LA in the early '80s, and I was on Fuller House and Happy Days and Married with Children and Three's Company and Dallas and Chips and Fall Guy, all these shows. And then I kept hearing, well, you're too pretty or you're too sexy. You need to look like the girl next door. And I never got cast as the girl next door. I'd only get cast as the femme fatale kind of role. So finally, my agent had this audition for me, and he said they're replacing a gal named Caroline Schlitt that had been on the show a year and a half, and she was very good, but USA Network for some reason wanted to replace her. And they said they want sexy, they want out there. And so I'm like, okay, I'm just going crazy. I mean, I'd been doing stand up and improv, so I walked into this audition. There's like 200 women that auditioned for it. They said host, so everybody came like as a newscaster. Back in the day, women wore suits and jackets. I went in with this low cut spandex dress. I plugged in my blow dryer and was blow drying my hair. I just went like big, over the top big. And they loved it. They wanted over the top because back in the day, those were considered to be schlocky films. They weren't as beloved as they are now. You guys got into it, but it was like USA Network's library, and they were just showing these films and trying to make people stay awake so that they could get these great advertisers. Like we had Snapple and Budweiser and Snickers and just like great advertisers. I would even go on calls with the advertising people from USA Network, the account executives, and I'd be meeting with people from Budweiser. It was like insane. So we did all these sweepstakes and wonderful things through those 8 years that I was on. So it was kind of like raw and new and fresh back then, and then everything became so regimented. But I think that's the freedom. So I had no choice of films back then. It was whatever was in USA Network's library. So a lot of times they would run things over. And I mean, they would run horror films, but then they would run 16 Candles or, it was like a kind of a weird array of films. I mean, if you really look at it, it's like, wow. I mean, they had some really big films that they run, and then a lot of schlocky films, and then films that you were like, oh, what is this? So it was just whatever. I had no choice with that. We just went with it.
Now, what was the shooting schedule like back then? And like, was it a set and then they had the movies? You just had to know which movies that they were doing? Like, how did that all kind of work? And what's going to be the difference between then and now?
Great questions. Well, I mean, there was always writers and producers. I had like 7 different producers. I don't know why USA Network kept changing producers. First 4 years were done in LA, where I was lived. And then they moved the show to New York because USA Network shut down their Los Angeles office. They were out of New York. So they started flying me into New York, and we would bank 4 shows. I did like almost 450 shows. We literally shot every week, and USA Network literally erased all those shows, Gilbert and mine, for the tape stock back then.
Wow.
I have all of my show, not the films, but I have all the sketches because that was in my contract for them to give me a VHS tape. So we've transferred them all. Most of them, a lot of them are on YouTube. So I'm the only one who probably has most of my own library anyway, which is pretty cool. I wish I had some of Gilbert's. I mean, he was so brilliant to lose his comedy and all those. I mean, he must have done like 500 or even more episodes because he was on from '89. to 90, yeah, from 89 to 98. So anyway, so I didn't have control over that. I did have control because the show started making so much money that I had control over ideas for shows or casting, or, I wanted to do this or that on the show. So they would listen to me. I had just great relationships with all the producers, so much so that some of these directors from my past want to come out and direct a few shows, and even some of the writers. And that's just blowing my mind. I mean, they're still out there, they're still in the industry, and still very talented people. A lot of people that started on USA Network went on to write for Letterman and Leno, and eclectic people, and a group of people through 8 years of the show, for sure. When I went to New York for 2 years, I had Gilbert Gottfried's producer, and the show got very dark. It was like not the Rhonda that people remembered from the early days, which that is what more we're doing. We're going to start off in a bedroom set that's much like the early 90s, but it'll be new and fresh because, of course, our sketches are going to be new and fresh and fun and surprising. But I am going to surround myself with young, cool, hip's not a word, but I don't care, writers. And, I've always loved to surround myself with young people because I learn from them. A lot of older people, I don't know, I know it all. No, I learn every day from the people that work for me in my intimate apparel business and the people I surround myself. I have a wonderful crew. My first cast. Oh, you know who's on my cast? If you guys are really into horror, is that I have the wonderful John Brennan. Do you know who John Brennan is?
I
He's
don't.
from, okay, John Brennan was with The Last Drive-In for many years. He was the musical director for Joe Bob Briggs. He's still doing music for Joe Bob, but he used to also go on camera and do, sketches and stuff. So he's not going to be doing that anymore. So I was on Joe Bob Briggs of The Last Drive-In a few months ago, and I met John there. And I wasn't, even then, I wasn't thinking about doing the show. But when the show started to happen, I wanted to have some regular cast members. So John is going to be my musical director and kind of my house band. So it's going to be John Brennan and the Up All Nighters, and I'm going to be one of the backup singers, and I can't sing, so that should be fun. And so it's going to have a lot of original music and a lot of young people that are just young filmmakers. So we'll have premieres, but then we'll have films that everybody wants to see and knows, like Hell House LLC is, like, I think, our first film, and that's like in the top 10 of Halloween films. And I haven't seen it. I have it. I'm ready to. We don't shoot until Monday, so I've waited till the last minute to watch it. So anyway, I'm excited, and that's like my homework over the weekend, is to watch both films.
Are you like so hands-on right now with this? Like in the sense that where before you had, USA was kind of the thing and you would just part of your role. Now this is like pretty much all you except for the films, right?
Yeah, it's really hands-on. I mean, I was hands-on then. I probably made my crew crazy back then. I'm probably making my crew crazy now because I am casting it. I am writing it, co-writing it with a wonderful writer named Matt Maisto. I hope he can write lots of them. He's really got it. I mean, he's like you guys age, but he watched the show, grew up with it, and just was a writer for MTV. He just gets the format, and he's a horror fan, which is great. But yeah, the production, it's our, production facility. So yes, all things with the set, breaking down the script, blocking the script. Yeah, it's very different. It's definitely different. I am hands-on in all aspects, but I love it. That was my dog, not me, I swear. She's
What do you think, though, about the way that the audience today consumes media? Because more or
it's
less
fast. It's
nine
fast.
9 out of 10 times, though, they're watching it online. It's not like the cable from back in the 90s.
It's fast, short attention span. So, I mean, our sketches will be fast and funny, we hope. Listen, the first show, I mean, hopefully we find our way immediately, but I know the first show will be, new crew, new cast, all working together. I feel like we'll be really ticking along by the second, third one. But I understand the attention span, so that's why I'm going to give them a lot of color, a lot of eye candy, a lot of stuff to look at. The films are going to be good, so hopefully they'll be engaged. I imagine they'll still jump around the internet, but I do think so many people are watching on YouTube now. The Kings of Horror, the parent company, which is a company called Blue Sky out of Prague, they're a film distribution company for Europe. They also own two other channels, and one is a nostalgia channel, which shows a lot of the old sitcoms and old musical variety shows. Another is a stand-up comedy channel. So they were kind of looking, but not actively, for a show that would be the anchor. And they thought Up All Night was the perfect show. Kind of, I'll be the face, the anchor, kind of the mama dog of the channel. And my friend Richard Gabby, who's the one who produced Revenge of the Party Nerds, he is going to be the face of the Nostalgia Channel. That's kind of like his thing. So it's like they needed someone to kind of anchor those channels, and I think it's a really fun job for me. And I'll bring a lot of other content to them too, because I love cooking, and they've already got they've got a cartoon on there called Meet the Cleavers, and I'm doing a voice on there. So they're doing a lot of experimental content, which is very very today, very now. And I just think they already have 1.5 million, subscribers, free, that you can subscribe for free. But I think it's going to blow up with this show. I really think we're going to bring a lot of eyes to it because of guys like you. And I've been doing a lot of PR, and the word is out. Just when I put a little casting notice out there, my inbox exploded. I was shocked. I just put it on my social media like Facebook and Instagram, very small. And then I was getting actors from all over the country wanting to come do it. I'm like, wow.
I mean, it's impressive to see, because it feels like it seems so fast, right? Like I just heard about it, and then all of a sudden now you're doing all this PR for it. And how long has this been in the works? And like you said, you were on Joe Bob, and you said you weren't even thinking about this yet. Now, when you went on his show, were you kind of like, oh man, I could do this again? And then it happened to come across your table, and you were like, yeah, let's do it.
Yeah, all of that, because I'm a stand-up comic. So when I would go to a comedy show, I'm like, I can do this. And then someone threw me up on a stand-up comedy stage recently, and I'm like, they're like, just tell stories. And then I got there and everybody was doing jokes. So I quickly remembered like a few old jokes and then just talk to the audience. And I'm like, yeah. So I think once you're a performer, you're always a performer. So whenever I'm in a set, a comedy show, then I want to do that. And so, yeah, I was at the convention and I want to do that. And seeing Joe Bob, I could do that. But I didn't run home and run into it, because I have a very active business. If you go to rhondashear.com, that's my intimates business. And we're on Home Shopping Network. We're in shopping television in Australia, in the UK, many countries. We're an international company. And so I think what I've done is I've combined my entrepreneurship with my comedy, so it's kind of like the business side, which I'm really enjoying now too, with the comedy and the casting side. So I like doing that. I wasn't able to do that back then. I was either waiting for someone else to cast me, but now I can cast myself and I can cast others. And I still have a company that's paying the bills, which is the Intimate Apparel Company. Although I do think that through Patreon and through sponsorship and through merchandise, I really feel like this show's going to be very buzzing along.
Going back though, because Joe Bob was of course on TNT.
Yes.
Monster Vision, right? It's almost like you guys were competing a la WCW versus WWF back in the day.
That's so
we're
funny.
We're going to talk about wrestling too, because that's both of our things. But like, did it almost feel like you were on enemy territory coming on his show?
No, because he came on my show back in the day, and I went on his show back in the day, and then he asked me to come on this anniversary show of him. He might be surprised, but I don't think we're competitive. I think if anything, it'll be complimentary, because his take on it's very different. And he's got, the gorgeous Darcy. So that's his sexy sidekick, who's very smart. But really, they're all things filmed for the most part. So they have some people that come and go, but it's not really sketch oriented. I mean, he's going to sit and talk about the films, and that's his thing. But it's still film oriented. So I think we will still have the films for you, but then we're going to be more comedy oriented. And I know Svengoolie's out there. And I have to tell you, I haven't really watched Svengoolie except little bits and pieces, but I think it's a little bit more family oriented than we're a little bit more adult. But yeah, dinner and a movie was a little bit of our competition back then. But really, we all survived together. And Cassandra Peterson was already off the air when I started. I mean, talk about make a brand out of herself. I mean, I told my husband, I said, we got married and we started the intimate apparel business, but we could have kept going with my brand from Up All Night. But I didn't think about it. I really didn't. We were just very focused on building a company which has done very well, even though you guys don't buy bras and panties. But
But you
yeah,
can work the brand now. Like it's not like this is just the beginning of what this could be. Like you said, you haven't even hit the convention scene really yet. And that alone
no,
is some people that have been, they're still doing these things and making a full living just on the convention scene. So
I
for
know.
someone who hasn't even been there yet, I mean, I'm sure they're going to be knocking on your door to
They,
have some appearances once the show starts. So I mean,
it's
that's just a whole
funny.
nother avenue
Well,
for you.
and one
It's really
thing
funny because
too,
yeah,
if
they,
you're
they,
if you're
they,
doing the conventions,
yes.
you can also do interviews while you're there at the conventions for the show.
We're doing that. So we did that at this FrankenCon, and we kind of aired that as a little up all night. Before this happened, we just did it at FrankenCon, and I love going around and interviewing people. So we did that. We played around and did another one from our studio before this, but it was cute. But this one's being lit and directed and edited. It's going to have all the bells of original music. So a lot of love and work going into this one. But yeah, the conventions are starting to reach out to me. And a gal named Jody Ritson, who's an agent for these, I don't know if you've ever heard of her. She handles the Happy Days guys and the Chips guys. So she has like a great little group from the 80s and 90s. And she likes to put on special events at the convention. So not just booking you to sign autographs, but like maybe something special or a dinner at the convention. So we both came up with it. I think this is so much fun. I'm going to do a bra fitting. So it'll be a picture and a bra fitting. So I'll fit the girls and maybe the guys too. And I'll take a picture. If not, fit them. They can hold up one of the bras. Who doesn't want to hold a bra? But then they're going to learn about bras. So we will be able to combine both brands this way. And I've never been able to do it. So I think it's really exciting. So I think I have 6 shows for next year already lined up. And I don't think we'll have time to do a lot of them because we'll be in production and I still go on air on Home Shopping Network. So I have a
So
pretty
you're
busy
so you're
schedule.
busier now than ever. Is that what you're telling us right now?
Yeah, I can't get old. That's really
Think
good. It's really
about
good
that.
for me. I'm like, I refuse to get sick, but I do have 4 chihuahuas. I'm going to show you just one. They will be on the show.
Oh, look at that. Oh,
Cute.
She's 3 pounds. I'm completely ridiculous. So I think this is why I can do this because I've never grown up.
So while the original show was going on with the USA Network, you did a few random like roles in movies, and there was one that I wanted to ask about because it's such a strange movie. I remember watching it. I think back in the day, it was on your show, and Return to Frogtown from 1993 with Robert Zadar, who I know for a fact is a character. I've heard many stories. I wanted to see if you had a Robert Zadar story from.
I don't. I can't. I remember the scene I was in. I think I was only in a couple of scenes, but I don't remember. I really don't. I mean, it's really funny. Either I remember every moment of my life back then, or I wipe out things. Like for some reason, I remember that film. But yeah, here's the crazy thing: is I could have been in so many horror films. But
yeah.
I moved to, I could have. All these producers and directors came through USA Network and I met them all. But I was a little bit of a snob, not a snob. I've never been a snob, but I mean a snob in that I wanted to do a sitcom. I moved to LA to do comedy. And so I was so focused on television sitcom that all my friends were getting these horror films and going out for them. And I'm like, no, it's okay. And I didn't look down at it. It's just that I didn't want to do a film. I didn't want to sit around a set. I love television because you would rehearse for a week, like your Happy Days, and then you'd shoot the show on Friday. It's like a little mini play, like a little theater, and then you'd start all over again and do the next one. Where a movie, it's like you're on the set for like weeks or time. And I was like, no, I have no attention span. I regret that because Lloyd Kaufman was on. Oh my gosh, he must have been on Up All Night like at least every couple of weeks or every 3 weeks. And he'll say that you put Toxie on the map. And I mean, I could have said, "Give me a role." We were
Oh my
friendly, and
God,
I
he would
know
have
we
taken
were.
you in a
Of
heartbeat.
course.
Oh no, we were friendly. We were
Yeah.
friendly, and it was just so many of those guys that I was friendly with, and I really kind of beat myself up now over like I was like all my friends like was friendly with Linnea Quigley and all those gals, Michelle Bauer, all of them. They came on the show. They were regulars. But they're going to be on the show again. I have Linnea
Oh, that's
Quigley on my
awesome.
first show, and I'm
Awesome.
very excited. And Felicia Rose is on my first show.
Oh, she's so nice. She's awesome.
I just met her, and she's like, I feel
Oh,
like I've known
she's
her
great.
forever. She is
Yeah.
really a special girl, and I
Mhm.
will hopefully have her on a lot. I feel like she's going to be my good luck charm.
She's
So,
she's awesome.
and
That's
she's
great.
a great actress.
Mhm.
She's really good. I mean, I know you don't see, I mean, you see it, but she's really a good actress. But yeah, so I love working with those kind of people, and I don't remember. I remember the scene, but that's all I remember. I thought you were going to say Basic Training or Prison of Go-Go, but no,
It's
Frogtown
always
was.
the weirdest movies with me that I pick out. So sorry.
Well, speaking of memories, we wanted to touch base on like not only were we watching these movies with you for the first time growing up as like pre-teens and teens, but we were
Oh,
also the both of us were obsessed with wrestling. So when you saw you show up on WrestleMania 10 and Raw and all this other stuff, it was awesome, right? So I having you on, I'm like, we've got to talk to her a little bit about wrestling. Like, do you have any stories,
I
being
do.
backstage with the workers or anything?
I
Like, I
do.
want to hear it. We want to hear all of it.
Well, I
There's a
do.
bunch of it on your YouTube page too, right? I think you
Well,
uploaded
it's
some
really
stuff.
funny. The wrestling came about because USA Network had a relationship with WWF.
Mm-hmm.
So, and USA Network was really good with synergy. They like I promoted that. They came on my show, the wrestlers. I went on their show, even with weird science and shows like that. Duckman, they had me on as a character on Duckman. I mean, they were really good about cross promoting. So really, that's what it was just cross promoting me. And then I got WrestleMania as a cross promotion, but that was really cool because it was like nice money that they paid, and I got to work with Burt Reynolds. And
Right.
now the thing that I did the most, that was the most fun, and I don't remember who came up with this, but they created a relationship with me and Shawn Michaels,
I love it.
and he was a character. He was very nice, and I mean, he was nice, but he was also that character. He was a little egomaniac, but he was sweet. But I kind of we hung out together. We did all this crazy stuff in Vegas. Like, so we did these photo shoots. Like, he's looking in the mirror and he's like pushing me out of the way, and it was all about his ego. And we went on these faux dates. But I remember being backstage or going to dinner with them, and they're Carney guys, and they speak. Do you know what Carney is?
Yeah, yeah.
It's a language that, like, I guess circus people speak.
Yeah.
So they have that language, and I was intrigued by that. I was also intrigued watching them eat. So I go to dinner with them, and it was I can't remember which casino that we were shooting at, but it was where the show was. Not WWF, just another one that I was out there for USA Network. And these guys, I don't know what they eat today, if their diets are different, but I remember Sean, getting like a stack of pancakes this high and a stack of prime rib this high. And I just, I couldn't believe what they ate. And the carbs, I mean, it was just, I can eat a lot, and so can my husband, but that was like a whole nother level, especially if they're all in great shape. And
Mhm.
their characters are good. Their characters are good. I never met the Hulk, but I met, Randy Savage. I worked with Randy Savage, and he
I
was
watched that
so,
interview you did with the Macho Man. Yeah.
oh my God, I loved him. And, I
You
lived
had
in
like a
San.
lot of like did WWF, did they ever reach out to you about more of a regular sort of thing? Because the
No.
backstage interviews and stuff that you did was something totally different
I
than what they
know,
did
I
at the time.
know. And they were really good to me, but they didn't. And I don't know if that's because they changed to WWE, but once my tenure with the network was over, that was kind of it. Except that so many people remember me because we did so many little promotions together. And I got to know the guys. I'm having a hot flash. This is when you're older, then you have your fan.
My
Or I'm
fans up
like
here.
Beyonce. So anyway, no, they're great. And here's the thing. I find that the wrestling fans and the horror fans,
Oh yeah.
or they cross over.
Oh, for sure.
So I don't remember how I started talking to Nick Nemeth, but I did. And Nick Nemeth
Oh yeah.
wants to come on the show.
There you
And
go.
he is like, I'm so intimidated by you. I'm like, you're Nick Nemeth. You're so funny. You're like, what? He goes, well, I grew up with you. Blah, blah, blah. And I mean, he's a big deal. So
Yeah.
I'm going to
And he's a
definitely
comedy guy too. Like he does stand up, right? So it all works out. Yeah.
and I think, they didn't take themselves seriously, but they did when they got in the ring. But man, when you look at them in the ring, I was always just blown away how, I mean, physical. and you really can get hurt. I mean, I know there's a lot of staging to it, but it's brutal.
Well,
And
back then they were on the road a lot more than they are now. So 300
on
days a
the
year
road,
usually.
they were, oh yeah, they were on the road. They were definitely on the road a lot. And I can't remember where else I went with them, but a few
So did you
places.
have to travel to go to some of these events? Like, did you have to
Yeah.
go? Oh yeah, yeah,
Yeah. And I loved it. I know I went to Vegas a
sure.
couple of times. I don't remember where WWF, where WrestleMania was. I can't
I
remember.
think it was
Where?
in New York that year.
Oh
Oh
yeah, it
yeah,
was
the
in,
MSG.
10.
it
Yeah.
was in New
Yeah.
York. It was great. I mean, it was fun. I have to say I really enjoyed that. I mean, it was just not that my bit was that big as the bell ringer or whatever, but working with Burt Reynolds. Oh, and then this craziness happened. I don't know. You guys probably don't remember this, but so I had worked with Burt Reynolds a few times with a few things, and we were friendly. I mean, not boyfriend and girlfriend, but friendly. And he'd call me every now and then, blah blah blah. Just hang on the phone. He's a really nice man, but one of the tabloids not got a hold of anything, made up this story that Bert and I were backstage doing the nasty at WrestleMania 10. And I am the one who broke up their marriage or sealed the deal with Lonnie Anderson I mean, that was a long time ago with Lonnie Anderson. I'm like, so it's on the front page of, I can't remember if it wasn't the Inquirer, but it was one of those, the Star. I don't even know if they're all around today, but these were all big deals back in the day before social media and all this, or, but all the other stuff, the gossip stuff. Anyway, I get a phone call from Bert and he's like, "Did you plant this?" I'm like, "Plant it?" I mean, I don't want that reputation either. I mean, I'm trying to stay away from that reputation. It's already bad enough that people will only cast me in certain roles. But now you think I'm going to plant that you and I were sleeping together backstage on and it was kind of a nasty story. And he realized that I did not plan it, but I felt really bad. I felt bad. And I never did find out who
It was
did
one
it,
of those
what.
wrestlers playing a joke on
Probably.
you guys. It
Yeah.
probably was.
I don't know, but
One of them was like,
there
"We're
was
gonna
no
work."
pictures. They kept saying they got a lot of mileage out of it because they said, "Look, next week we have pictures." And so for like 3 weeks, it kept running on the front page and the cover, and they didn't have any pictures because there was no pictures. The only thing they showed was a picture of Bert and I doing a sketch together, that we did
Mhm.
do at WrestleMania. But there was nothing. There was nothing backstage. All of our stuff was in front in the camera. But anyway, that was just one of my WrestleMania moments. But they were definitely really good to me during that time, and they did keep using me for promotions and stuff like that. But then it just drifted away. It's a shame I didn't stay in touch with them. But I'm going to bring them. I'm going to have all the wrestlers on the show. I'm going to have RJ City on.
Now, did you ever meet Vince McMahon or no?
Yes, I did. I did, and he was great. I mean, he wasn't flirty. I mean, I've heard stories,
Mhm.
but I mean, he was nice. And I think again, it was because of USA Network, and that their relationship was very strong. Or did USA
Yeah, I
own?
saw
I
I
don't know.
saw a clip of you on Raw in the audience doing it. Like you were in the front row and Jerry Lawler was interviewing you or something. I think it was during Raw or something like that. So
Yes,
yeah, you did a lot of stuff
yes,
over there.
yeah.
Yep.
We did a lot. I have to find some of those clips too. I can't remember, but I mean, I worked with Doink and Dink, and oh my
Razor
God,
Ramon.
Yokozuna, that was a cool one. Yeah. Big
yes.
sumo guy.
I think that those years were really cool. That I worked with those guys. I think they were some of the most fun characters. I mean, I don't watch it as much anymore, so I don't know
Mhm.
the characters, but I don't know. They were just
There
so
was
over the
one that
top.
you did with Papa Shango, the voodoo guy. Do you remember
Yes,
that?
yes,
That
I
was
do
great.
remember that.
Yeah.
See, that I remember more than Frogtown. You know why? Because they're characters. They're
Yeah.
characters, and they really got into their character. And when I interview them, they were really in it. They were just in it, and I love that. And over the top. That's the kind of
Mhm.
stuff I want to do. And you don't forget that. You go a lifetime remembering those characters.
That's why we're remembering those interviews right now
I
because
know. I'm so honored. I'm
it's
so
stuck with us,
honored.
for so long. And I mean, so it's been really cool kind of going back in time and talking about this stuff, but why don't you just let everybody know like what's the game plan here? I know it's going to be the 25th is going to be the first episode. And then you said you're going to kind of move to the holidays and then kind of move it into more of
Yeah.
like a regular base thing.
Yes. So anyway, first of all, you can go and even get product now and merchandise on RhondaShearUpAllNight.com. If you want bras and panties, you can go to RhondaShear.com. But for all things Up All Night, it's RhondaShearUpAllNight.com. And we will have our first will be on Kings of Horror, which is on YouTube. Easy to find. Go to YouTube, search Kings of Heart, it'll pop up. Just subscribe. It's for free. And October 25th, we will be we will be communicating with everyone because we will have live chat during that time. And so I will be on, all the cast will be on, it'll be like everybody's watching together. Joe Bob Briggs does that, but it's very cool. I think it's very cool, like to have a watch party. And I think that is part of what the young people like today because they're only on their phones, so they don't socialize. So we're going to make it one big social party that night and every other night. So then the second one is November 22nd, Thanksgiving. It's a Scream Queen, how to be a Scream Queen, basically. And then the third is December 20th, our Christmas show with the Naughty Elves and Santa's Little Helpers, really hot girls on that one. I'm doing all the casting. I love my beautiful, talented women, and then we go every other week. So we are literally. I think we'll be doing more than anyone else that's on the air right now. I know that Joe Bob does specials. I don't know how often.
Yeah,
he's
every
on.
other week that's a lot.
It's
Yeah.
intense. It's intense. My husband's going to go. He's like, doesn't realize it. He just walked out. He has no idea what he's in for. He's
my
in it
God.
though. He's actually really good. He's actually really good. He designed the set and helped build it. I'm so excited. I feel the most energy. I love my brand and I design, I create, we manufacture all over the world. We've won major entrepreneur awards for my brand. Very proud of that, for real. But I have to say that you asked, once a performer or an actor, always an actor. It's in your blood, it's in your heart. And to be on set and acting with other actors and having fun is just feeds my soul. And hopefully I'll have a lot of people and get a new generation through puberty, but not with me. I'm going to hang out with the old geezers.
Well, it's crazy. Yeah.
Here's another fun thing that we're doing. So there's a cartoon on there called Meet the Cleavers. And it's going to be I asked for them, I want it to be my lead in because it reminds me of Duckman that led into Up All Night. And they're writing a character for me and they're like, what character you want to play? And I'm like, I want to be a cougar because I keep playing. I just did 3 films. Like all these young people like you guys are producing and they're asking me to be in their films. So I'm playing the same roles I did when I was young, except the old version of it. So cougar, some slutty old bag. So I wanted to be a cougar. So they're like, okay, we're going to make you half human and then a were cougar. So when you see a young man, you turn into a were cougar and you eat them. So that's going to be my character on Meet the Cleavers. And it's
So that's going to be, is that going to be, you said a lead into the show?
It's
Is
the
going to be that
lead into the
cartoon?
show. It'll be the lead in, and they're already on. It's a really clever cartoon. I did a voice for them for. I'm not their Halloween special because no time for them to write me in for that. But I do have a couple of lines in their Halloween special, and they're going to use that as the lead in. And I'm really excited. I think I don't want another horror film to lead into us. Even though it's kind of a gruesome cartoon, it's still a cartoon. So it has the light and the levity to it, like the Addams Family, but a little gorier. But it's a perfect lead in into horror films, I think, and to me and the craziness. But you're going to see a lot of people you like on there, like the Felicias, and you will love John Brennan. If you don't know who he is, tune in for him. He is very talented. He's got a sidekick named Yuki, and Yuki's hysterical. And hopefully they'll be on every show or close to every show.
Well, I'm definitely looking forward to it for sure.
Oh yeah, we'll definitely be in the chat Saturday night for the show for sure. So keep your eyes out. I want to thank you again for hanging out with us tonight. It's been awesome.
Thank you,
And
guys.
best of luck, and definitely we'll
you.
chat again. So we appreciate you being here.
Thank you. I love both of your voices and your looks, by the way. I'm a
wow.
flirty old bag, but it's true. You guys will. No, you both.
I don't
have
get that
great-
very often. I appreciate it.
No, you both have like just great voices, and you complement each other very well. You'll have to come on the air. I would love that.
What, you want us to come on?
Why not?
Oh my God, I'm there. I'm there in 2 seconds.
Well, I want people that know and love all things horror so that I can quiz
do it.
you and then you can enlighten the audience and then they won't think, I'm not authentic because I'm learning along with you. You guys would be great.
We'll chat.
You guys would be great. So you've got to come on. I'm serious.
I will
For sure.
100%.
I'll take some
come on
nerd
if you ask
medicine.
me.
Okay. Where are you guys? Where are you located?
I'm in Rhode Island, so I'm in the Northeast.
Okay. We'll have to get you down to Florida. And where are you?
I'm in southeastern Kentucky.
Oh, I love that. That's it. Sweet. That's sweet.
They call me
Kentucky
the
Sam.
creepy Kentuckian.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I love that accent. That's okay. You've come down to Florida, to St. Petersburg, and have a great time. We'll get you down.
You
Because
you
once we
get
go
us
into
down, and
production,
I'm there.
it would be really fun to have a show of like people that love horror and sit around and just do. I mean, we'll make it into it'll have a theme to it, but that would be a great setup.